Welcome to my Best 11 podcast. Today we are joined by a striker who has been at a number of clubs across the world really. Charlton, Luton, Millwall, Notts County, Immobile, Albufeira, Gravesend, AFC Wimbledon, Senkampenpal, Woking. I'm probably pronouncing some of these even wrong, not Woking. But today we have a man who is also a Ghanaian international. Today we are joined by Kim Grant. How are you, Kim?
I'm very good, Andrew. Thanks for having me on board.
Excellent. Marvin, managed to get Kim on. Known from his Luton days?
Well, all 3 games of them, according to Wikipedia. Mind, I mean, what's going on there, by the way?
He must have made a very big impression. A very big impression, Marvin.
Well, no. Obviously, we know Wikipedia can be wrong sometimes. I knew he was there a lot longer than that. Yeah. So Kim came. Did you come on loan originally first, and then you?
No, it was a direct signing.
Was it? I thought you did. Yeah. I thought you come on loan, and you scored some goals quite rapidly.
It was actually when Charlton were in the playoffs, and they signed Bradley Allen, and they needed the money to pay for him. And basically, to be honest with you, I should have actually come on loan because that year we went down when I came. We did really well to get out because I think we were way off we almost nearly sneaked out of it because we went on a good run. And that year, Charlton went up and I was like, what? And I was like, what did I do? You know? So I didn't have to leave Charlton, but I just thought that I needed some games, and then obviously Lennie brought me through the academy at Charlton.
Right.
And I was playing first team when I was 17, so I was there for 8-9 years. And when Lennie came in for me, I was contemplating where to go or not, because you guys obviously Luton was struggling, and you know the location where it was as well.
Right. But again, you probably was thinking like. Again, not being disrespectful, you're probably thinking maybe come to us, like get your career banging some goals, and then maybe come back again. Obviously, that's probably how you was probably thinking.
Yeah, it was. But actually, that year I was playing really well for Charlton. I scored against Liverpool. We played Man United in the FA Cup quarterfinals. I was banging in goals, and it came to the transfer window in January, and Kirbishley decided to come bring Bradley Allen, and I was like. You know, I had David White, I had Alex Dyer, I had Gary Nelson. So we were fighting for Carl Eburn as well. So we were trying to fight for one spot. But I was doing really well. And Curb said he couldn't guarantee me anything. And the next minute, on a transfer deadline day, Lennie's come in and put a bid. But I think there was a bit of communication going on, knowing that they wanted to just shift me out. Do you know what I mean? And
how old was you then, Kim?
I was like 24, 25. But obviously I've been at Charlton for a long time, so I just wanted to be of something new. But I should have gone on loan because I had the option to go on loan or go permanent.
You did you had an option to come on loan first.
And the week before that, I signed a 3-year contract with Charlton.
Oh,
I know.
So it's weird then. Obviously, maybe there wasn't something. Maybe there wasn't something going on. It wouldn't give you a 2-year contract if they thought about.
Well, it just happened so fast, and obviously it would have been the first time as well that I would be transferring to a new club because all I knew was Charlton since I was 15. You know, and then going to a different environment, I thought, okay, and it was Lennie as well, so I had confidence with him, and I knew you guys had a really good team as well, but you had the wrong foot of the table, and I was hoping that we would stay up. But in hindsight, that was the day when Charlton beat Sunderland 4-3 at Wembley playoffs.
At Wembley, okay,
yeah. And I was spewing afterwards. I was like, no way. Thanks, Lennie.
Up they go to the Premier League, and
yeah, we went to was it League One?
League One as it is now, yes. Excellent. So we are here to talk about Kim's best 11 players he's ever set foot on the pitch with. So those people who haven't listened to the pod before, Kim can pick players who he's played with, internationals, club level. As long as he has played a competitive match with them, it is absolutely fine. So the first question we always like to ask, just to get a bit of structure, and I know you do a bit of coaching yourself, on and off, Kim, is what formation have you gone for your team?
I've gone for this is the formation I like to, play anyway. I've gone for the 4-2-3-1.
Is that your favourite, or have you tried to just shoehorn as many of the good players?
I'm thinking of the players that I've played with will actually suit this system really, really well, and I think Marv, you know, in it.
Listen, you're too direct. You're too direct with me. I like to play with the ball on the ground. So
I'm joking.
I know.
No, I just felt that this system will really fit these type of players, and I think you love these players, Marv. And
Okay.
Very, very technical, very fast, defensive minded, attack minded as well. So both defensively and so transition will be really, really good.
Excellent, excellent. So we are going to start off with the goalkeeper. So give us a three.
Yes, the goalkeeper was quite a tricky one because there's
clues.
The clubs I've played with, really, there's some young ones and there's some old experienced ones. So it was someone that. Do I need to name the clubs?
No, you can just give us little clues.
Give us little.
He was a former England keeper, and he played for a club in the Midlands. I think
former England. He played for the team in the Midlands. Was he former
when you played with him?
He was a former, yes.
Andrew, you got it?
No.
Was the club in the Midlands Forest?
No.
Oh.
It's the international one.
This is done this.
And it was the club wasn't it? Go on.
Hold on. Did you say England international or just international?
England.
Former England international.
Yeah. Go on, you can say something else there. Go on, give us that other bit you were going to say.
The colour is not blue. From Midlands.
From the Midlands. So it's Villa.
Yeah.
Villa, Aston Villa.
Yeah. Did Nigel Spink play?
Nigel Spink.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nigel Spink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigel Spink.
It was a character. He was really good, down to earth, but he was like a presence in the goal, And I played with him at Millwall.
That's right. Yeah, I was thinking about him.
He was really good. Also, I thought about other goalkeepers as well. Kelvin Davis, he was a decent keeper for us. Ian Fior, again another very, very, very very good presence goalkeeper. He's if he stands there, his head hits the crossbar. But he was very good. Come to international clubs, I think you wouldn't know them, so I kind of left them out.
Right.
So they went. But I think that Nigel Spink and Ian Fior are probably the two best goalkeepers. I had Mike Salmon at Charlton, Bob Boulder, but I think on Nigel Spink was, I think, above.
Did you not have Crossley as well at Millwall? Was he at Millwall?
Mark Crossley as well. Yes, that's another good shout. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so what do you? I mean, when you're training as a striker, do you go up against the first team keepers, or are you always playing against the youth ones? So do you get to train with these people like Spink?
Yeah, it was always the first thing. It's funny how I don't know if Marv agree with me on this. The strikers always get on really well with the goalkeepers, and the defenders don't really get on well with the goalkeepers. I don't know whether it's a chemistry of like us trying to challenge them and scoring against them, and they try to stop us from, because we're strikers. Do you know what I mean? So I think they have a more of a rapport with us when we and especially all the goalkeepers I worked with or played with. We've always had a challenge and rapport as a link together. So that's, and I always prefer playing against the first team goalkeepers because it's, they have a bit more experience, they know the positioning, so it's much more difficult.
Yeah. Do they go at you? I mean, is everybody trying hard all the time? Or is it a case of sometimes you're after building up, particularly keeper's confidence if you know you've had a bad game or...
Oh, no, we tried to demolish the keeper's confidence. We tried to chip them, lob them, everything. No, that one. For us, it's obviously about, okay, you sometimes have a laugh and a joke in that, but, you do get into certain areas where you just want to chip the keeper and just try and practice your technique if you're under pressure. But yeah, you do take it seriously, but majority of the time when they get really angry, you keep winding them up and keep sticking in the corner.
Brilliant.
But Tony Thorpe was good at that.
Yes, he was.
I'd imagine there's probably many a video if you could go back nowadays and see strikers being chased around the pitch from goalkeepers just by winding them up. Is that right?
I don't know how it is now, like in the Premier Leagues with the setup. I'm sure they do it in training, but obviously the top strikers are like phenomenal. Like Aguero and that. They just got a short back swing.
But were you ever chased around a pitch by goalkeepers who wanted to just lump you up?
Well, I got Michael sent off. He took me out at Old Trafford, and he's the only time he got a red card in his career. So
how did that come about? How did that happen? I haven't seen that.
That was in the FA Cup when I went through and he just came out of nowhere. I didn't even see him coming. And actually, my shot was going in. I kind of hit it outside my boot, and he came out. Like, how he spreads himself?
Right.
Just came out. And as I turned, I just saw him corner of my eye, and he just took me out. Like, it's literally about another 15 meters outside of his box. And like, I
ended up winning the game?
Yeah, that was in the game. That was his first red card.
Did you end up winning the game?
No, and the funny story with that is we went in at half time. They had 10 men. We went out time 0-0. We thought, yeah, we got to have a chance. And that was such a brilliant team they had. And next minute, within 5 minutes, Hughes is put in the back of the net. Within another 5-10 minutes, Kanchelskis gone down, and he's gone down again. Giggs and Kanchelskis just red arrows, and just killed the game with 3-0. In 20 minutes, they killed us. He just stepped up another gear, and that was it.
Interesting.
Excellent. So we're going to go to defenders. So you're playing four at the back. So
yeah,
right backs and left backs.
Yeah,
whichever one you like.
Okay, we got left back first. He was my former teammate again. It was at my first club.
At your first club. I'm going to throw something straight out there. Scott Minto.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Bang on. What a player he was.
Yeah, he was a very good player.
Superb left foot. He got transferred to Benfica. So he went to Chelsea.
Was he English? Or was he... Or have I got the Portuguese? Was he English or was he Portuguese?
It was English.
English.
Oh, it's just because obviously he transferred to Benfica. And back then, that was rare.
Yeah. I think
that was really rare.
That's when Graham Souness was there.
Oh, yeah, we've heard about this. We've heard about this from Pembridge when about 35,000 players went out there.
Yeah, all English players. You had Pembridge, you had Scott Minto, Dean Saunders.
But he went to Chelsea for big money, didn't he? Got good money.
He went for, I think at that time, he went around £850,000, and that time was good money.
Yeah, fullback.
That was, actually, my transfer to Luton was 250.
Really?
250,000, yeah. So it was quite decent money during that time. Was that 90, 95, 96?
Yeah,
I think it was 96.
96, yeah, 96.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
96.
your first big transfer after obviously coming through the ranks at Charlton. Did it feel like it was putting pressure on you? Did you feel like you had to perform?
In some extent it did, but because what's his name, Robert Lee, Scott Minto, Anthony Barnes, they all went for big money before me because we went back to the Valley and the club was trying to get money back in and just to rebuild the Valley, because obviously we were playing at Crystal Palace, West Ham, Upton Park, and Selhurst Park. So that transition of that. Because we were one of the first clubs to have like a top football academy, training ground facilities like almost every club has got now in England. So a lot of investment was put in the Charlton Academy structure. And then when we went back to the Valley, a lot of money needs to be recouped to reinvest. And that's why the exodus of us most of us all came through the academy, so they made the money through the youth system, and it's continued from there, really.
Yeah.
But touching on that bit about the academy, how come Charlton then for you? Where does it all start for you? I mean,
it started at Brighton. I was playing for Brighton boys. That time it used schoolboy forms, and at that time I was 15, and basically Charlton saw me at England under 15s. You know, Lillishire. I don't know if you ever went there, Marv, where they do the England under 15s. They do the Walker Crisps under 15s, and you get selected for out of 4,000 or 5,000 players. They reduce down to 32, 24, and you go to Lillishire for the under 15 schools. And every cup final, there's an under 15s England tour.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they didn't have. I mean, I'm older. I'm a lot older than you. They didn't have that at the time when I was playing. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I went there, and out of I think 3,500 players, I got down to the last, I think 35 or something. And the last game, the coach told me that I scored a hat trick on the last game, and he said to me, "I'm never going to be a pro football player." That was the England coach of the under 50 doing the selection. So I left.
Name him.
I'll tell you afterwards, and it was funny. And later I went back to Brighton. It was like a casual under 15s, and then Brighton was playing Charlton Athletic in a friendly at New Eltham, the training ground. So because I've been with Brighton for a little bit, it was because it was schoolboys. We weren't registered or anything. I said, okay, I'm going to try. And I at that time I saw Charlton was in the first division. Now it's Premier League, and they were always struggling. They were down the bottom, and Brighton were in the old first division. And I don't know if you know Barry Lloyd.
Yes, the centre back. He's been
Barry Lloyd.
Yeah.
No, Barry Lloyd is the manager. I don't know if you knew him.
Oh,
no, Brighton back in the day.
I'm getting confused with Larry Lloyd. Sorry, you're right. Larry Lloyd, I was thinking.
Yeah, he's a very old school coach. So I said to him, look, Charlton asked me to play. He's okay. He said, yeah, no problem. So we went and played Charlton at the New Eltham training ground. And I scored a hat-trick against Brighton. And they were spewing. And then literally straight afterwards, I went home and they contacted us and they said they wanted to sign me up on YTS. But I wasn't too sure if I'll do it because obviously Brighton, I'm from Brighton, I'm living down Brighton. So I went home, thought about it. And then we played the county schools, you know, that you get selected from the county. So I was playing for Sussex and we played, I think, Surrey in a Corinthian Casuals stadium. And then the Charlton academy manager at that time, his name was Colin Clark, and he came to watch the game. I was sub and I came on and I scored. So he saw me in a game, scored 3 against them, against Brighton, and he saw me. And then from there he contacted me and said, come to Charlton, we want to give you straight away that time it was a YTS, 2-year scholarship, YTS forms. And then I went out and I decided which one to go, and I just went for Brighton. I felt sorry I went for Charlton, and I felt sorry for Brighton in a way because I was with them for a couple of years and stuff like that. But and I moved up to London, South London. I was in Diggs for 2 years. And 16, 17, I was playing first. Garth Crooks was playing at Charlton at that time.
Right.
As a striker, he was coming to the end of his career. And I think he got injured, and Lennie was scratching his head for strikers and that. And I was really doing really well in the academy. At that time, I was 16, 17. I was scoring lots of goals. I played for the reserves at Welling, and I was scoring loads of goals. And then Garth Crooks got injured, and next minute he's put me in against Wolverhampton at home at Selhurst Park. At that time, we were playing Selhurst Park. And I think it was 0-0, and he brought me in the last 15 minutes. And I scored on my debut at 17. Yeah.
What, win 1-0? Win 1-0?
We won 1-0, yeah.
Oh, you couldn't write that story.
Keith Curl was playing in that centre-back for Wolves at that time as well. Steve Bull was playing. So Wolves had a really, really good team.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, I mean, that you scored a 17 league debut coming on and scoring. I mean,
yeah. And then the following game,
in front of your own
the
fans.
following game was crazy because we travelled to Barnsley away, and again we were drawing 1-1, and he's brought me on again, and I got the ball halfway line, and I took on about 3-4 players, and I scored again. And
No way.
Yeah, it's one of my best goals. I took on about 3. I just like jinked inside about 3-4 players, and then I just slotted a goal. And so after that, they just said, "Look, we're going to give you a 3-year contract." So that was it.
3-year contract, was it? And super sub nickname.
Yeah, and I kept on scoring. Every time I came on, I kept on scoring or creating goals.
And did you not come across that guy again who said you never make a professional player?
Oh yeah, he's now at Charlton.
Still?
Yeah, he's the head of youth academy. Steve Avery.
So hold on a minute. So you've got through 3,000 odd kids down to the last 30, scored a hat trick, and he said you'll never be a what? That's a little bit.
I don't know. I think that time, it was a little bit difficult to understand, and you're 15 years old, 14 years old. You just, I don't know what you do. I knew I did well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
At the beginning, I wasn't training. Wasn't so. Maybe it was my body language. Maybe in the training sessions and everything, but. Some body language is different to how you play in a game and stuff like that. So
I get that, but if you scored a hat trick, there's something a little bit right. You know what I mean?
But Marv, you know yourself, Andrew. I don't know if you've been in a system that sometimes you can do as much as you want, and if they don't fancy you, they don't fancy you. And
that's
it's something
true.
that
Yeah.
And I've been to many clubs that I played for that. I was at Millwall. And the Billy Bonds, when I transferred from Luton to Millwall, done really well, and the new Billy Bonds left, the new managers came in, they just didn't want me there. That's but unfortunately, so he's now at Charlton, and funny enough, later on, one time I think I went back to Charlton to the training grounds and everything, and I met him, we spoke, but
did he remember?
History, do you know what I mean?
Did he remember? Did he remember you?
He does. Of course he did. He did. But and I did say to him I think I made it. Don't you think? So it's like he just laughed it off, and he just said it's the time and the moment. So
yeah,
I don't hold grudges. I think it's right place at the right time. If you're lucky.
Of course.
Yep.
Left back.
Definitely. Right back.
Oh, right back.
Scott Minto.
Right back.
Scott Minto's
right
left back.
Is right back is a really, really tough one. I played. Sorry.
Go on. I was going to say, I think you could have played someone right back who you probably might have not even thought about. Doesn't matter. Carry on.
I've got one here, which I've got 2 actually. He was really good. Again, 2 different clubs. The 2 clubs I transferred to, I was at, and I went to our club. So that's the only 2 right backs I can really think of. They really went on to do really good stuff as well.
International?
Yes. One was do you want the name of the country?
Well, which club?
Scotland.
Which one? Pick one first.
Scotland.
Pick one
Scotland. First. Yeah, I think Marv has got to get that one.
Scotland.
Which one are you going for?
It's really, really tight one.
Who's the other one?
I'm not sure if this one made England. I think he might have got into the England squad, but I'm not too sure if he did or not. The one that, the first one, the Scotland one, became a Scotland international. I think Marv know that one. I think
yeah.
I think a lot of the Luton lads will probably agree.
Andrew's a Luton fan as well, so that's why Andrew. We could. Andrew's a Luton fan, so he knows that.
The other one, he actually got transferred to Chelsea as well after Scott Minter. And he can play both left back and right back.
Transfer to Chelsea.
Yeah, he also played for Bolton Wanderers. He went from Charlton to Chelsea and Chelsea to Bolton Wanderers.
Did Clayton Blackmore ever go there?
No, that's from Man U.
No, I was thinking.
And there was only 4 of us from the Charlton Academy that came through. John Silako's brother, Andy Silako, myself, this right back.
Oh! Did you mention him already?
No, I haven't mentioned him. So we were the only 4 players out of 28 got signed pro. The rest was released in my age category.
And he went to Chelsea.
Went to Chelsea.
Yeah, he played with us for a long time, and then when I left later on, he left. He left for good money as well.
I don't remember this guy playing for Bolton though. The one I'm thinking of, I was thinking of Barnes.
Yep, you got
Barnes.
it. Anthony Barnes.
Yes,
Anthony
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. I didn't
He
think
was like Scomito, steady Eddie, very consistent.
I didn't know he had Bolton though. I didn't know
he played for Bolton, and he was very good with both left and right foot. You know, Scomito was predominantly left-footed, but we had a very, very good balance in terms of, you know, as a utility player, you can play left, you can play right. But I think maybe Greza had something more about him than Anthony Barnes.
Yeah.
Graham Alexander, you know, he was full of energy, loved to get forward. He tracked back, he was in a very, very good right foot, and it's a good footballer, and he had a good football brain as well.
Yeah. Well, he's doing absolutely sensational at Motherwell at the moment, isn't
he? Yeah. He done well before when with
Salford, wasn't he? Salford as well, wasn't he?
Well, was that
Scunthorpe and Salford? Yeah, he did. He took Salford up, didn't he?
You know, I feel a bit sorry for him what happened to him at Salford, but you know, it is what it is. Football.
It is what it is. But good. I mean, he's a good right back to have for struggling. By the way,
yeah.
I'm struggling for a right back. He said at the start, he's not a bad right back to speak.
I'll probably go for. So it's either Anthony Barnes but there are other international players I played with, but. In terms of quality, in terms of
penalty taking,
Greza technically was brilliant. You know, I think, you know, he's a good passer of the ball.
Excellent. So we move to centre backs.
Ooh, this one.
I think we might have a couple of internationals thrown in here.
I think we have. I mean, I'm surprised we've not had none yet. Internationals yet.
Okay, he is a Ghana international.
Ghanaian international.
Yeah, and he played for one of the biggest clubs in Europe as well.
Yep. Played for Bayern Munich.
Yep. I think Andrew's got it.
Daniel?
No.
Is it? No? Who's it then?
I think it's Sami Kuffour.
Correct.
Yes, that's it. I forgot about him.
Manchester United, last minute.
Oh my gosh.
Banging on the floor. Yeah, very, very solid. He was like your height, you know, but he was slimmer than you, Mark. And the guy was fast, and like he had a head like a coconut, and like he can just head the ball as you can ping it. But technically, he was very, very good on the ball, very aggressive, but he was strong. I hated playing against him, even in training. He was just so physical, like he was like a stick, but. I don't know if you play some strikers that are really slim,
right?
But you can't. And I've played against some players, some defenders. Like you think that you brush them aside, but they're very, very tough. You know, and,
very tough.
But what he did was he was able to read the game really well. But the only downside of him was that he relied on his pace too much. Because sometimes he thinks that he will give you a half a yard. He knows that he's going to go catch you because he was very, very quick. And I think in those years, compared to now in the Premier League, centre half weren't as quick, as athletic as they are now. Because now it's about pace, speed, power, you know, technical ability on the ball, composure. Not just, but because Marv is probably one of the quickest centre backs we played. When he started off, he was slow to start off. Marv. But when you got in your stride, nobody can catch you.
Because I wanted to test myself. I wanted to give people a chance to see if they can get away from me.
Yeah.
And then I always like to test myself.
Yeah. So really, you that kind of centre half that you always you want to give somebody half a yard, and you knew that you can get back with your pace. You were that quick. You were that athletic. You know.
Well, trust me, that
physically you didn't look like an athlete. Huh?
Well, trust me, that wasn't my thinking to let them get away from me. If I could, as I found out later on, as I got more experience, if I could read the situation, I'd rather get there a lot sooner than them, by the way. But I mean, just going into your touching on, because there's international career now. It says, I mean, it probably could be wrong, 7 internationals. But I mean, how did it come about? You know, your first ever call up? I mean, what was that like? I mean, for you to be called up?
Actually, the first call up was when I went to Luton, and I don't know if you remember.
Thank you. See, thank you. You can thank us later. Thank you. See, again, you didn't want to come, but look, thank you. It
was a strange one because I was doing quite well at Luton. The first 6 months, I was doing quite well, and. And next minute, I got a phone call, and there was a World Cup qualifiers and the African Nations Cup as well, and that's when I got a phone call, and Lennie said, "Look, Ghana's called you up. You fancy going? I don't really want you to go because there was a World Cup and the qualifiers in a space of like 3 weeks, so he's going to miss me for 3 weeks, and I think." I'm not sure if Torpy was injured and he was short of strikers and he didn't really want me to go. But then we discussed about it. He said, look, if you go, don't get injured, keep yourself fit. And, you know, you can't deny me the chance of getting an international cap, you know, and it won't be fair on me. And he said, look, so you give me my blessing. So I went. And then we played, I think the first game we played against Morocco away at home. And I was in front of like, I think 60, 70,000 fans. And literally people were climbing along on the, the scaffolding of the floodlight. Like literally, really? It was like a swarm of bees. You know, when you look, we stand in the middle of the pitch, you just see like, just white eyes all stuck to the...
And did you start, Kim? Did you start?
Yeah, I started. I scored as well. So that was my debut goal and everything. We drew 2-2. And then we had a second return leg. We lost 1-0. Then the following game was South Africa. We went to Pretoria. Again, that was like full state, 80,000. But we had that team should have actually qualified for the World Cup. Because we were that generation where it was unbelievable team. Unbelievable. And... we didn't qualify, and later on, Michael Essendon's generation were the ones in 2010. I think they qualified for the World Cup for the first time. But our generation was like ridiculous, the quality of players, and so that's where it really started, really from Luton, and went from there.
Like I said, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I played about again. The stats are wrong. I played around about 14. National games. Yep. I scored, I think, around 4 or 5 goals, but I was in and out because at that time we were fighting relegation with Luton, and Lennie wasn't really too happy. And at that time he said, look, Kim, we're paying your salary, we need you here. You can't keep globe-trotting with the national team for friendlies and stuff like that. So in the end, I kind of pulled back on it, and he was right in a way, because as much as I was playing international food, but after the World Cup qualifiers, you know, they wanted me to go and play the King's Cup in Dubai, and just for a friendly, you know, just for financial gains for the Ghana Federation. So I said to them I said, look, my club's paying for me. They just bought me, blah, blah. I can't keep going playing out in friendlies and everything. And then since then, once I stayed that, they didn't really call me back again. So I just. Oh,
they got a bit of an arseache, do you think? Or
wow. Sorry?
Do you think they got a bit of an arseache with you saying
that?
Yeah,
they did. But also the fact that I was getting tired because of the traveling all the time, and I was in and out. I started to get injured. I'm sure Marv will tell you about that. I started to get injured with my hamstring, and I think that was just tiredness, always traveling, and even one time I flew back in the morning, and we played Derby County away. I don't know if you remember, Marv. The Sturridge was playing up front. We won 2-1, and I came up. I started, and I arrived that morning.
Yes.
And I played the game, and we played Derby away. We travelled to Derby, and I came, and we won 2-1. I scored that goal.
I remember it.
Game, and we went on a good run from then on, and we nearly got out of it.
But you can't believe you flew straight in from Africa.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like dead. So it's, but I played the whole game, and I think it took me off the last 80 minutes, and we won the game really well. He showed up the defense, and I think we went on a good 7 games unbeaten. Excited to get into the playoffs. I don't know which side of that was when we were in League One. So I don't know which side. I think we were pushing for the playoffs, and we lost. We lose in that with Stoke over the 2 legs.
The Crew, was it?
Crew we played. I don't remember Stoke. Crew we played over 2 legs.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, we played 2 legs, home and away, and then we lost.
It was Crew. It was Crew.
Because we were the far the best team in that league.
Yeah, it was Crew.
Yeah, and that was like a nail on the head, really, for us. I think it was a great chance for us to go up.
That was.
We did it. Yeah, we had a very, very strong squad.
Very much
Kerry
so.
Hughes, Tony Thorpe, Greza, yourself, Mitchell Thomas, Waddock, Harvey, Ian Fior. We had a very, very, very good Steve Davis. We had an unbelievable team.
We did.
We had Upson as well. We had what's the other one? The striker. He was very, very skillful. Short. He was very, very skillful. I can't remember his name.
Fortiadis?
Yeah, Fortiadis.
Fortiadis.
Yes, yeah. But he had his moments.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Yeah, moments and injuries he had, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he did.
So, other centre back next to Sami Kufuor.
I'm sure you would get this one. He played for Burnley. Came from Burnley.
Steve?
Yeah. For me, he was one of the best centre backs, I think, out of the top division. I don't think he got the opportunity to play as high as he could have done. Good balls, centre half, very good in the air, very dominant, very powerful. And I think you guys, obviously, Marv, you was your partner, and I think you must have loved playing with him because you two have great chemistry, understanding.
Still speak to Steve now quite regularly, quite a lot. I mean, he started off at Southampton as a kid. I mean, and just originally for him, probably the Burnley thing was, I think he played a couple of games, but he didn't really have that breakthrough. But believed in himself and to give himself a chance to go somewhere else because Burnley came in for him, and he took the opportunity. And like you said, I think he should have really maybe played a lot higher because the ability he had, he was strong in the air, tackle, could score goals, comfortable on the ball. He really was a top player and still a great friend. So. Yeah, totally get that.
I think the only downside with him was I think his pace on the turn.
Maybe that.
I think when he was facing the play, he was brilliant, and he can read the game. He can get in front of you. I think when a striker faced him with pace, he just couldn't. I remember that the first time I played against him was he was playing for Burnley, and we played at the Valley, and I kind of just drove past him, and then we knocked out. We beat them 2-0, I think. And I created the first one, and the second one I just dribbled. I think I've got it on video. And I just left him for dead, because I just came at him and I just turned and I just span off him really, really quick. He just
you weren't exactly slow, Kim. So so you know what I mean. That was a big asset of yours.
But I thought he was a good captain as well, a good leader. Yeah. And I think not so much. He didn't say much on the pitch, he just led by example. And I think that was a big part of him. Yeah. He was a silent captain in a way. But
fantastic.
If he said something, I think you listen.
Yeah. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause it there. And then when we come back, we will hear Marv's 60 seconds. And we'll also hear from the rest of Kim Grant's My Best 11. Welcome back to the second part of My Best 11 with Kim Grant. So far, Nigel Spink, Graham Alexander, Scott Minto, Sami Kufuor and Steve Davis. I'm going to hand straight over to Marv right now for Marv's 60 seconds.
Okay, Kim. First answer that comes in your head: Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Thank you for
VAR
listening
or
to
no VAR?
My Best 11 Pod. We are currently accepting
No VAR.
applications for advertisement and
Favorite
sponsorships.
other sport?
You can reach us at
Golf.
My Best 11 Pod or My
Best
Best 11
ground
Pod
you've
at
played at?
gmail.com. Thank you.
Ooh. Oh, wow, that's a good. Old Trafford.
If you could change one rule in the game, what would that be?
That's a hard one.
All right, it's all right. Don't worry, we'll come back. Leave that one.
Okay.
Leave that one. We'll come back. Golden goal or penalty shootout?
Penalty shootout.
Pie and chips, fish and chips, or pasta?
Pasta.
Beer, wine, or spirit?
All of them.
Funniest teammate or player you've ever come across?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Funniest teammate or player
You.
you've ever come across?
Definitely you.
Me.
You and Thorpe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But if you wasn't a footballer, what would you have done?
Chef.
A chef. Oh, okay.
And one more, Marvin.
One more. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Best player you have seen, not played on the same field, you've seen live. You've gone to a game and you've seen live. Best player you've seen live.
Both played with or without?
No, without
seen?
playing, not the same field. It's best player you've seen live. You've said.
Cantona.
So who do you support? If you said Old Trafford, obviously, it means a lot to you.
No,
Do you
well,
support
it was a
United?
difficult one because I played in such amazing stadiums, through my career. And, that one springs out, as one of the best stadiums. And I played in clubs abroad as well. So internationally in Belgium, in Asia. So, Japanese stadiums are beautiful. Yokohama Stadium, it's absolutely phenomenal.
So who do you support as a kid?
I didn't really. Do you know what? When I moved because obviously I was born in Ghana. My mum is white English, my father's Ghanaian. When I moved to Ghana, I didn't really realize I was football as a professional. So I just happened that I was very fortunate. I played football. I loved football, and it just went in. I went into football through the schools, through the county, and then I got maybe fortunate in that time, that generation. I got picked up by Charlton, but I didn't really support anyone. So you could say I have a very close affiliation with Charlton Athletic.
Yeah. So on a Saturday afternoon, who do you look at, or who do you scroll through on the internet to find their score first?
Probably Charlton. You would say Charlton,
Yeah.
But most because I'm now a professional coach and everything. I tend to look at the teams that have been playing really well tactically, like the management, like Mourinho, Klopp, Guardiola. You look at these top, how they set up their teams. So you tend to look at those results and watch their games, either highlights and see how the pattern of play is going and stuff like that. And also, coaching sessions and stuff like that. So I tend to look at those because obviously I want to improve as a professional coach myself. I want to get new ideas. I want to. Obviously, I'm director of football for developing football clubs as well, so that's part of the reason. So, I got a little bit of affiliation with obviously my former clubs, Luton, Millwall. I tend to kind of see how they're getting on. But if you're looking at the top teams, I tend to probably say Man City, because maybe Man City and Liverpool really.
Marv's a Liverpool fan, so
Yeah.
Liverpool fan, yeah.
Excellent. Right. So we'll get back to the best 11. You're playing two. Are they holders? Is that how you play them, or how you playing them?
Well, it'll be two holders, but one tends to sit a little bit more, and then the other one supports the attacking midfield player, the number 10 role. So, but this one was really tough because these are some top players that I played with, and
internationals,
all of them. So
But for
and
Ghana?
the rest of my squad is all internationals that I played with.
For Ghana.
No.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right, first
So
one,
which
then,
one
give
do you
some
want
clues.
first? So one of them is Belgium, was a former Belgian national player. Because I played in the Belgian Premier League, so I played with him. He came through the youth at the club I was at. Then he went and became a Belgian international. Then he went from there to Holland to play one of the big top sides.
PSV?
He played for PSV, yes. But before PSV, he was at another club in Belgium. But from my club, he went to that club, then he went to PSV. Very, very, very good defensive midfield player. He eventually actually went to play centre back. And he played in the World Cup, but 2 World Cups ago. He came and played at Old Trafford as well when they played in the Champions League. Very good friend of mine.
I should know that. I'm not. I mean, Andrew.
I played with him 3 years. I think you know him if I mention the name.
Yeah, but I know.
He was captain for Belgium as well.
I know, but I mean, because obviously, like I said, we do research, and so like, even though, I mean, I don't have them written down, like literally written down, but I think, I'm thinking that he could be someone he could pick. Oh, I ain't got it. No, I ain't gonna get it. Go on, Andrew.
No, go on.
No, go on. Say it. Tell us.
Timmy Simmons.
Should have got that. Should have got that.
What a player he was. Absolutely brilliant. His lifestyle was healthy. Fitness-wise, he can run all day, up and down. And defensively, he was just solid. Nothing get past him, Do good timing of his tackles. Technically very good. He played it simple. He won his tackle, and then he just gave. He was like a Kante, but it was like Emmanuel Petit.
Right. Okay.
Similar kind of stature, but just he was an elegant player. But he was like no nonsense, and he would just.
He came for the ranks. You said he came for the ranks.
Yeah, he came from my club, Lomo SK. It's now I think there was one of the clubs Man United and Man City owned in Belgium.
Okay.
So because that's when I was a Millwall, I got transferred to the Premier League in Belgium. So I was playing against Anderlecht and stuff like that. So
yeah, I was going to ask. So how did that come about going abroad? I mean, it wasn't
about
that common.
When after my 3 years at Millwall, I wasn't happy, and obviously during that,
You're never happy. You're never happy.
I was still playing international football, and obviously I met a lot of players who were playing in Germany, in Belgium, and stuff like that. And through the international football, an agent approached me and said, "Look, Kim, I like the way you are. There's a club in Belgium, Premier League, looking for a striker." And then I don't know if you know Josh Dardens. Have you heard of the name? His son plays for Genk. Joe Dardens.
No.
Well, he's the head coach of that club, and and I don't know if you remember Mark Ford. He played for Leeds United.
Yes, I remember Mark Ford.
Yeah, so he signed me, and then Mark followed me afterwards.
Right.
He was a midfield player, and that's how. So the agent said to me, "Look, they're going to." So I think they offered about £100,000 for me for Millwall, and I wasn't happy because I think Keith Stevens and Alan McCleary were joint manager. They're diehard Millwall people, and obviously I'm from Charlton. I went to play for Millwall. There was kind of, because Billy Bonds brought me there, so I think there was kind of that Charlton sentimental against me there.
Right.
But I already been there for 3 years anyway, so I just thought, I need to go because I didn't want to be in that environment. And then and I also thought that I want to have something different. I played in the UK for 14 years at a top level, and to experience new football, to broaden my own experience. So I took the chance to go there, and I spent 2 years there. And then that's where Timmy Simmons was at that time, was like 19 or something like that, 20 years old. And from that day I saw him, I said, this guy's going to be like top player, because he was playing first team at 20, and I think I was like 28 or something.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent.
All right. Really, really good.
Okay.
Excellent. So next to Timmy Simmons is...
Right. This one is a tricky one. is another international, but there's 2 internationals. But one of them I played with. He came through the academy with me. He's now a professional coach, but I'm not going to choose him. But I'm going to give you the other one that I think will choose over him.
Right.
He's now a coach now in the Championship.
Lee Bowyer.
But this is not the one, is it?
No, this is not the one, but
Yeah, but you can tell it. You can just tell us. His
Yeah, it's
name.
Lee
Tell us-
Bowyer.
yeah, Lee Bowyer.
He's Birmingham manager.
Lee
Yeah.
Bowyer. So yeah, so he was one of the ones I can pick. But this one, he was with me at Millwall,
Right.
and
he's an international, yes?
And he's not English.
I know. Is he Australian?
Yep.
As a holding midfielder.
Well, that's
No, that's what I'm saying. Timmy Simmons will be the holding.
I was going to say, because Timmy Cahill, who it is, he's Australia's highest. He's Australia's highest ever goal scorer.
Yep, and yeah, he was
you're
my
playing-
boot boy. Funny enough, he was my boot boy at Millwall. And he got upset with me every time I didn't give him 50 quid for the Christmas bonus. So, but he always, I still speak to him some now and then, and I said, "Hey, you better give me you got more money than me now, so you better start giving back my bonuses." No, he's just cracking up all the time. So, yeah, Timmy,
Because he started obviously.
he's an all-round midfield player.
Yeah, he started in that position though, didn't he? And then he obviously then started to get pushed further forward when he went to Everton after Millwall. Or started off at Millwall.
No, well, Millwall, he was
Millwall,
like
he got pushed forward, didn't he?
All the time, you know. He was very attack man, but the good thing about him was that he was able to get back. He was just full of energy. And the thing is, the funny thing about him was he would hardly touch the ball in a game, but he would come up with a goal.
Yeah.
You know, he would come out with a spectacular, or you would just come up far. He's only like 5'8", and he would just get up above 6 foot centre halves from the back and just pops it in. And he gets man of the match in that. But he was a good footballer. He had a very, very good football brain. His positioning was excellent, and he just knew where to go. He was a bit like a David Platt.
Yeah, I mean, probably a little bit more. I mean, a
Mobile
lot better
and
than
yeah. But he had that kind of David Platt. You would never see him again, and he just pop up with a goal.
Yeah.
And he did that with England and Villa when he was all the time. And but technically, he was very good. He had a good, ability on the ball.
And probably one of those. I was going to say, probably one of those midfielders where if you had him and you brought him or signed him, you're probably guaranteeing yourself 15, 16 goals a season with someone like that.
Midfield,
from midfield.
And as striker, sometimes, people always rely, if you start scoring a lot, people start just relying on you. And if you've got players like that who can chip in like him, Lee Bowyer, other players that were able to chip in the goals, it takes a little bit of pressure off you as well. So that's what he did really well. And he contributed a lot of, and then you saw him in the World Cups as well, the goals he scored. Yeah. He just goes in and glides in there and just hides behind people.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely. So we've got Timmy Cahill. We've got the Timmies in the holding positions, or not, even though they're not fully holding.
And just hold you there, Andrew. I could go back to the right back, Lucas Neal as well.
I was going to say, I was going to mention him, Lucas Neal. Yeah, Lucas Neal.
Yes. Millwall had quite a few Aussies back then, didn't they?
Yeah, we had a few.
So we're going to go to the 3.
Yeah.
Are you going to go left, right, or middle?
And we're going to go left side first.
Right.
He's a former Evertonian. He played for Everton. Very, very, very good player. Very short, very quick.
International as well.
I think he played international. I think he did.
You said they're all internationals, you said.
Well, I think he did play 100%. He must have been international.
Short.
Yeah. I ended up playing with him at Scunthorpe United when I was there.
Oh.
Very, very tricky. Very skillful.
I was going to say, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, Peter Beagrie?
Yes. Wow.
Wow. That one was pulled out.
Wow.
I told you. We do our research. I'm thinking Peter Beagrie.
Wow, that is... I would never thought you might have got that unless I kind of went into it a bit more.
No,
Nah,
Beagle,
what
yeah.
a player he was. You didn't know which side he was going to go, left or right. It was like winger. He was a proper winger. Like, I'm trying to think what to compare. He was like a Hazard.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's
But
fair.
Hazard was much more stockier, and but the same height, and he was just unbelievable. And like you think that he's going to cross it, and you just cut back inside. You think that he's going to cross it, and you just see defenders just going sliding past him all the time. And next minute, you would just think a little delicate ball to Ian Omenroyd.
But Kim, wouldn't that be frustrating for someone like yourself, a striker who's going to make a run, and now he's not putting the ball in the?
No, but
he's
because
cutting back.
I think you know that what players'
To do.
ability is. So with Peter Beagle, you knew that you had to wait a little bit before you make a decision until you've seen that he actually beats the man, and then he gets his head up to. So I think once you play with a player for
Right
3 months, and then I think if you're an intelligent football player yourself, Mark, you know that you know the strengths and weaknesses of your fellow players. So
Yeah.
that's where, it can be frustrating at times. But then sometimes you make the run and you should give it, but you just check back and he will just use his right foot, cut inside, and just puts in the top bin, and you're like, all right. So
Excellent.
right?
Peter Beagle. There we go. Good work, Marv.
Yeah, that's Marv. You surprised me on that one. Actually, you'll get this one. Maybe you'll probably get this one.
Well, which one is one? The middle or the right? We're going right side now.
We've gone right side.
Okay.
So the front four is gonna like top front four will be really good that I played with. Again, my former player at Charlton, and he got sold for big money. One of the first players to be sold.
To Newcastle.
Yep. Played for England.
Yep. And he's got 2 sons who are currently doing pretty well themselves. Like one's at Charlton. Is one of them back
One's
at Charlton?
Charlton, I think, and
and the other one's up in last time I heard.
Scotland,
yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not too sure where he is yet.
Robert Lee.
Yeah, that was quite an easy one. So, yeah, I played with him for 8 years, 6 years at Charlton. What a player he was, very, very consistent. A similar type of Beagle as well, left and right, but he was more direct, and he can just dribble past you. Low central gravity, great lad. He was a brilliant lad. Everybody loved him. The fans loved him. I think he was working on the terraces, and then he came through, and he got he started off on the terraces as a fan and everything, and he came through. And we sold him to Newcastle for $1.5 million, I think.
Yeah.
So
he was a legend up there for years. Wasn't he?
It was brilliant, mate. And he would score, and he wasn't prolific, but what he did was he was very creative. He would drag a lot of people to him, and then he would just pop it off. So a very, very good, very, very good player.
Yeah, and he was around.
I was surprised that you would never get, but you got it.
And he was around for a while as well.
Yeah, he was
in that era when that's probably why he didn't get as many England caps, because he was around in that era when, particularly, obviously he was kind of going through the Euro '96 one, and then Hoddle decided to just bring kids in. All he wanted was kids with Beckham and Scholes and people like that.
Yeah,
so.
I think he got into the league around 28. I think he later stages of his career. And that's when
I think he was in the France squad, wasn't he? I think he was in the France
Kevin Keegan
squad.
Yeah, Kevin Keegan brought him to Newcastle.
Yes.
That's when the era of Kevin Keegan.
Yep. Excellent. So, Rob Lee, Peter Beagle. Wow.
Yeah. There's a couple of people. I mean, I know you're not going to mention him now because, I don't think I can mention him now because they're not going to be in the middle. You played John Robinson?
Yeah, Robbo, I've got him down here as well.
But
I think overall quality and Robbo, Welsh international, good friend of mine. We were together for 7 years on the Brighton wagon with Steve Brown, another right back.
Steve Brown. Mickey Bennett.
Yeah, Benno. So there is some good core of players that I played with, but it was Gary Nelson, John Robinson, and Steve Brown. We all lived in Brighton, and we were on the Brighton wagon bus. Like basically, we take turns to drive up each day to go to training. So it was a good banter during those times. So we had a good core of them. And part of the reason why I think I left Luton Town, I got fed up with the travelling because I didn't move up. I stayed in Brighton, so I was driving every morning like 5 o'clock to training. So it took me about 2.5 hours past the Heathrow M1. And
I'm surprised you didn't look at the train. The train, because it was a train goes from Luton.
Yeah, even the train was like
nearly 2 hours.
Victoria, yeah, it was like hectic.
But
and
still,
I just didn't want to move up to Luton.
But at least you could sleep on the train. You could just chill on the train.
Yeah, I know, but I was just getting up so earlier because the trains were actually even earlier. So, you know, when you got your own car, you just want to get in a car and just drive up. And at times before match days, I would just stay on a Friday. I think I stayed at your place sometimes. I stayed at Kerry Hughes, or the gaffer would put me in the hotel. So everything just got on top of me, and I just didn't like it really, to be honest with you. I think seeing Charlton go up and us trying to get back up and everything, I think it was best for both parties. And I said to Lennie, look, I'm not really happy, and I think it all stemmed from that night. I went out with Kerry Hughes.
I know that. That's one of the funniest stories. I keep telling people, like, but you admitted it in the end. You admitted it in the end because obviously you went to see him, which is fair enough. But like, it's like, no, I wasn't out. Yes. Oh no, was you out last night?
What's this? Hang on. So go back.
Okay, sorry. Let's rewind. Sorry. So, I think was you staying at my house that night? Did you stay at my house?
No, I stayed at Kerry Hughes now. I was supposed to stay at yours, and Kerry's injured, so he asked me to go for dinner in Milton Keynes. So what happened was that Kim was sub. I think you were sub the next day, wasn't you? You were sub, wasn't playing, and so Lennie's come in, and it was like really surreal because like Lennie was just like quite quiet and got with things, so he's just going on. But he's talking about the game. We lost the game, didn't we? We lost the game. I think we lost the game. We did lose the game, but like it's sort of like, but this is before the game, though, Kim. He said no, it was after the game. You sure? Yeah, 100%. I was after the game. I remember. All right. So anyway, so I thought it was before the game. Anyway, so he's in the dressing room because I thought it was before the game. He's talking about, he was calm. He was calm. He was talking about, I thought he was talking about, we're playing so-and-so today or whatever. And he goes, we need to be doing this and we need to be doing that. We need to be nice and tight. And Kim's sort of like sitting there in the left-hand corner. So he's going, we need to be nice and tight. Yes! Oh no, was you out last night? Like, mate, I didn't know. Kim's just sitting there, poker face, like, no, gaffer. I've got a game. No, I wasn't out. I will come down on you like a ton of bricks. Was you out last night, Kim Grant? No, gaffer. But then you went to see him, didn't you? You told him. And Kerry Hughes was in the medical room. You know, the door where the medical room is. Right. Kerry, I'm sitting there. I can see Kerry's face, literally in stitches. Right. I can't remember who's the physio. I can't remember who was the physio that time. And I was just like, I just kept on seeing his face. He was in stitches on the medical bed, rolling over. And Wade Turner is standing there, like, oh, I know you went out last night. I know you. I didn't. And later on, and I think afterwards, Lennie knew that I wasn't happy, and we had a good man-to-man discussion. And then within a week, they sold me to Millwall. I went on loan to Millwall, and as soon as I got there, I played 6 games, scored 5 goals, and then they bought me for 200 grand. 200 grand. No, 100 grand. So I wasn't happy. So
Lennie was a funny man.
Oh, it was brilliant.
We've had him on here.
He looked after everybody. I think he was very honest, and he will give everybody opportunity. You know, if you do it for him, he will give you everything. And the good thing that he had a soft spot for me all the time, so I was able to. He looked after me in terms of that side of things. He knew that I wasn't happy for a while because of the traveling, and I was just tired all the time. So and I started to get injured. You know, I think it's fitting in the car. all the time in one position.
Who was it we spoke to? Was it? Oh, it was Julian Watts, wasn't it? Who spoke to him and he couldn't remember who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julian Watts. Wow.
He spoke. I think we had Julian Watts on here, and he said that you rang him up a few years later, and he had no idea who Julian was.
No, sad. That was
But
sad.
you had him on here, didn't you? So
Yeah. Lennie's good as gold. Lennie's good as gold.
Yeah,
Lennie was good
great.
as gold. It was great. All right, so there's the central one, the number 10.
I think you'll probably get this one. He was famous. He played for Marseille. Famous player. They won the European Cups, Winners' Cup with Marseille. Mark Haley was there. Chris Waddle was there. He was a legend. He is a legend. Everybody knows him. And I think.
Ghanaian international.
Yeah.
Abidi Pele.
Abidi
Pele.
Yeah.
Abidi Pele. What a player that is. He's probably one of the best players.
Great player.
He was his height of like Messi. Exactly the same type of player. Just could not get the ball off him. We were playing a keyball session, and you just couldn't get near him. And you think that you've cornered him, and you just get out of it. And playing, it was phenomenal. He was so sharp. I mean, like, he wasn't fast, but 3, 4, 5 meters, he's gone.
Yeah.
And he can turn on the sixpence with the ball, and the ball's like stuck to his foot. And and he was just so creative, and he scored some unbelievable goals. It's a shame that we don't have enough videos of those players in those generations, but he was like phenomenal. And when I was in awe of him.
He scored like you said, he scored some wonderful, great goals, and similar to the AC Milan one guy who went to, was he going to Leeds as well? That guy, big centre forward, George Weah, yes, similar to, because like he scored a goal. Remember, dribbling from like the penalty box,
halfway line. Yes, it was just the guy. There was some brilliant African players, but he was up there. He was phenomenal. And that first time when you're training with players, some players like that, and it's not like everything is just so calm around them.
Yeah,
and that's a sign of a top player. But they do things in a split second that you don't know how he does it, and that's
And I assume
like
it was very
like Messi and Ronaldo. It's something that, and the reason I chose Messi, I know there's a debate between Messi and Ronaldo. Messi is just a natural football player. It's just natural, and I'm not saying Cristiano has to work and improve and develop into what he is. That's the difference. So I think comparison you can't really do because physical attributes and mental side thing. But on paper, Messi's just a natural football player. He's just born with it. It's something that you can't teach. You're just born with it. Yeah. Same as Maradona. Same as Abidi Pele. He was just born with it.
Yeah,
that's the difference. And I think it's very. I think when people comparing this, they're just comparing about the goals, the statistics.
Right.
If you look at the skills and the technical attributes, they're totally different. Messi can go past 5, 6 players. Ronaldo can't really do that.
No.
He can go past a couple of players and he will just get a shot off or something. So I don't know. That's my opinion anyway. Yeah.
Well, that's what football's about.
Yeah.
About opinions and debate. That's why we love it. That's why we love it. So
who's getting the centre forward spot?
Ooh, I think you know this one. I don't even have to go for it. I think he's one of the best strikers I think I've played with, and to this day he scored some amazing goals in the English Premier League against Liverpool and Wimbledon. That's what I'm going to say.
Yep. Probably the best volleyer of the best volleyer, but he's definitely up there. Volleys of the ball, and thankfully there is lots of video of those goals.
Yeah, and for me, what he did with the football, the ball just, even when the ball's like, you got Abidi Pele behind him, and he just rattles pings the ball, and the ball just stuck to his foot.
Yeah.
And you get centre halves like 6'5" centre half. He just does that, just palms them off, and they just can't get around him.
How tall was he?
He
How
just
tall was
rolls
he?
them off. Huh?
Was he tall? I can't remember
He
if
was
taller.
he was like my height. It's like 5'10", but he was like stocky.
Yeah. So people
Stocky
young
but
kids at home.
powerful, you know. And he was quick. He wasn't slow when he got going. He was like 6'5", 5'10", something like that.
Who are we talking about here, Kim? By the way, just so
Tony Yeboah.
Tony Yeboah, yes.
Yeah, and for me, the good thing was when we played national team, I played on the right side. Abidipele would play on the left, and Tony would play up front. So on the right side wasn't really my position. I can play behind or up top, but the way we played was I would just come in off the line and just go out, because I knew when the ball goes into Tony, and he wasn't selfish. That was the good thing about him. He was able to bring people into play, and he was able to pick your runs. Or he would just drop it off, and then you get Abidipele just sliding you in, or the other midfield players making a third man run. He was, for me, he was one of the best strikers all time.
Every time what I think of him is that one where the ball's bouncing and he cuts inside and it hits that one for Leeds and he goes.
The stanchion,
yeah. Gosh.
Was that against the Liverpool goal?
It might have been.
I
think that's the Wimbledon one.
Wimbledon one, yeah. It was like from 35 yards, and it was just running at pace. The ball is not in control, but he's still in control. It was so weird. And then the Liverpool one as well was just phenomenal. That volley.
Yeah, I've actually just opened up, just out of interest, his goals to games ratio.
Oh, he's a legend at Hamburg.
In his history, 415 club games, 187 goals.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal goal scorer.
And in England, he was better, in the Premier League, he was better than a goal at every other game. He's played 47 games, 24 goals.
Ooh.
Just incredible stats.
Yeah, so, and I think he doesn't get a deserved recognition, because during that time, you didn't really have all the statistics and as it is, all the technology, sports science they have now, like Sky Sports. Because if you look, I created a lot of goals for a lot of players when I played. It wasn't just about I scored goals, but with my runs and with my, I had so many assists. And unfortunately, people don't see that because during that time, it wasn't recorded. People just saw goal scorers. That's it. Yeah. They didn't look at assists. They didn't look at how many sprints you did. You didn't look at, how many passes you made. And I was the type of player that I wasn't somebody who wants to run the channels. I like to come into the hole and then make a deep run, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, my generation, Marv's generation that time, a lot of those games were like, let's get it forward as quick as possible. And it didn't really actually suit me. The game, generation game now will suit me better than back then. And I struggled I didn't struggle at Millwall. I did really well. I played like 58 games. I scored 18 goals. But they were just long ball, Keith Stevenson and just wanted to hit the channels all the time. And they expected me to run in those channels, and I hated it. And but that's really I chose Luton because we were a ball playing team. We played from the back and we would try to play through the middle. Apart from Marv.
He tried to run the ball through the middle himself.
I tried to dribble. Listen, I was a striker born in a centre half's body. That's me. That's my excuse. That's why I dribbled. I was a striker born in.
The good thing was with ours, we had various type of strikers. You had me, you had Tony Thorpe, you had David Oldfield, and you knew that any of us can all play together. And you knew that David will always give if the back four is in trouble or anything, and they just stuck it into the corner, they knew that David will actually chase it down and at least put pressure on it. He was an outball for everybody. With regards to myself, Tony, we were a little bit technical, like the ball to feet. I was a little bit faster than Tony.
A little bit, jeez. Oh my God. little bit. Bobby wasn't fast. He was sharp.
Toby was very sharp, and he had a very short back swing.
Word.
You know, he was sharp. And
I'm not digging him there. You had pace. You was quick. Thorpe was not quick. Thorpe was sharp.
But Thorpe, if you give him, he will leave you 4 or 5 yards. But his main domain was around the edge of the box or in the box. You know, and you know that he's got amazing first touch, and he doesn't have a long back swing. He got a short back swing. It's like a little flick, and the ball goes like a rocket. So the goalkeeper doesn't even have time to set himself, and he's just in the back of the net. And that was the difference between Tony, and he's got this little jink in Marv.
Yes, he has got a little jink. Yeah,
but he deserved his move to Bristol City, and I think he did really well at Bristol as well. So
yes, yeah, definitely. So we have your 11. The last question we always like to ask people is, who is either best or who is, in your opinion, your favourite manager? Some people pick coaches. Some people even gone all the way back to under 15s, under 16 coaches. Who would be the best one to manage this team?
Yeah,
me. No. In terms of what, anybody or
anybody, any manager?
It could be an old manager, or it could be someone, a mentor when he's a youth team player, someone who really
that I worked with.
Yes,
Okay.
Looked after you. Yeah.
Or looked after you. Yes.
That's a good question. I'm
My best 11 hard-hitting questions.
I think Alan Kirbishley or Lennie would love to work with this team. I think obviously I worked under Sam Allardyce as well at Notts County.
Yeah, Notts County. Yeah.
Yeah, but Sam will destroy this team, I think. I hope he's not listening to watching this. No, but then he built a quite good team in that Bolton. That 10 years he was there. So
yes, he did.
Yeah,
Djorkaeff and everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
So who are you going for? You going for Lennie or for Curbs? Lennie?
I'll go for Curbs.
Okay, Curbs. All right.
Did you play with Curbs as well?
Yeah, we played. He came from Brighton. He came as a player, and then Lennie left. Lennie left to go to Middlesbrough, and they made him player manager with Steve Gritt, joint manager. And then the following year, they got rid of Steve, and then Kirbishley obviously carried on from there. And it was really, really good. And he started off very slowly, but he just grew into the job, and I think he got more respect. And as you know, he done really well with Charlton athletic for a very long time. So
you barely hear of him anymore.
Sorry,
you barely hear of Kirbishley anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of semi-retired now. He's doing ambassador role for Charlton Athletic. You know, he's normally on the Charlton TV and stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't know. I've never seen Greza coach, so it's a bit difficult because for me to transition seeing Greza to be, and I'm sure for you, Mark, you might think this Kim going to be a director of football and be a head coach of a top team in Africa and in Asia, and like it must be so surreal, you know. It's your mates.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you did. I mean, that moves on to our obviously last and final question. What are you doing now? And then you can come into that. But even before you've got to where you are now, and you've done fabulous things with different teams and gone abroad and done it, you did fantastic things at Woking. I mean, the football they were playing and stuff they're doing, and again, it's for me, it's a thing where you don't get so many people don't get recognised for the good work what they do, and I know, obviously from knowing you, the time, the effort, the personal stuff you put in, which people don't see, right? To do that. So that's just a frustrating thing. So what are you doing now, Kim, just so that all the listeners can know?
Yeah, I'm now obviously I was technical director of football. Obviously, I've been director of football for various clubs in Asia, in Africa, and one of the biggest clubs in Africa. And since I came back because of the COVID situation, I came back here, and there's a guy who has a non-profit organization he set up a new team called Prague Raptors. So he was been following me. He's a Leeds United fan. Basically got his own company, Maya Lucas here. a marketing company. And basically, when I came back to Czech, we've been in touch for a while. He was following me what I was doing because obviously he's a Leeds fan, and Tony Oboa, he's a big fan and that. So we got in touch, and he asked me if I would like to come down to, see what I can do or help out, because we're a non-profit organization and stuff like that. Yeah, so I came down, and during the COVID period, obviously all the football shut down a couple of years ago. So it was for me to keep myself busy. So I went down and saw what the project he has. Obviously, he's got the ladies team. I've just helped start building the academy for him. We've got a women's team now in the quarterfinals of the Czech FA Cup. We're the only amateur team out of all Czech Republic in the quarterfinals against all the top pro teams. And so we're playing on the 26th of February. That'll be live streamed. So if anybody's watching,
Right. No.
And then we had an A team and B team. So he built a really, really big, trying to establish. So they start at the bottom. So they've had 3 promotions in 3 seasons. Yeah. So partly my role is to bring some more professional foot infrastructures in place. He's aware that I can leave anytime. So that's. But now, obviously, I'm more in control of the whole club and try to really develop the club as best I can. We got players. We got over 16 players from different parts of the world. So these are not professional players. These are students, players from US, players from Kazakhstan, players from Russia, players from UK, and we've built decent football players. And majority of them are studying and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing now with this football club, but obviously I'm not contracted to them. So, I've been linked with the Ghana, because I actually was interviewed for the Ghana national team as a technical director.
Yeah,
I was in the last 6. I didn't get there, but I last 4 years I was coaching in Ghana with the biggest clubs there, and so that's what I've been doing. And I did my academy here. And then from that, I got a job offer in Asia with a brand new club in the Premier League in Asia, Bangladesh. And I restructured the club again. They went on to play in the Asian Champions League and stuff like that. Yes, and then Woking was, it was funny because I was doing my B license. And then I applied for the job, didn't think I would get it. And next minute I had a phone call when I was at St. George's Park. He said, Kim, we want to interview you. So I was with Steve Guinan and all that, and I said, "Look, can I go down to get interviewed?" And then I got a job. I was there for 8 months. The club really was transitioned from, it was a semi-pro, and he went from semi-pro to full-time. They nearly went down, so there was only like 10 players we had on contracts, so I had to rebuild the whole club, the recruitment. So I brought some really brand new players in from France, from all my contacts, and all were on free. And even Thorpe came down. I was going to sign Tony Thorpe as well. And after we played 7 games, we only lost 1 and we drew the rest. But the transition, during the preseason, we were doing really well. And the transition was, I can see the progress. And the chairman said, no, I think do you want to change? And I said, okay, no problem. So that was my first job, which I was really, really gutted about. And that really got me to, reflect on myself, self-assessment in terms of what I did wrong, what could I have done better. But I actually didn't blame myself. It wasn't me. It was actually the club ethos that they wanted to go a different direction. And unfortunately, I didn't get enough time. So I was there for 8 months. Yeah. And I think one manager said that you would never coach a manager till you get sacked. And actually, you can reflect on what, mistakes you do. And obviously, I've left other jobs as well. And I try to improve every time that I learn from the mistakes I do and be a better person, be a better coach, and gain experience, because you can't do that without, looking at your faults and admit to your faults and then try and improve it. And that's what I've been doing. So it's really, really, it's been good. I'm still on a journey. I'm still learning. I was about to do my pro license with the Asian Federation, but unfortunately, because of the COVID, I wasn't able to do it, because I was supposed to do it with the English FA, but that closed. So I went to because obviously I played in Asia, so I can do the Asian Federation course there as well. So I'm trying to do both. Yeah, I'm still studying, still learning, and hopefully I'll get lucky. And if somebody wants somebody who wants to build, and I love working with young players, develop players and rebuild football clubs, and that's what I like, And as you know, Marv, it's very hard as a mixed race or coloured to get back into it. It's very, very tough, and that's the challenges we always face. And it is what it is. But never give up, keep trying, and keep going.
Keep knocking on doors. That's the only thing we can do. Well, thank you, Kim, for coming on. Thank you, I mean, that's fantastic. I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah, it was great to hear from you. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Marvin. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much for your time. And that was Kim Grant's My Best 11.